All right, y'all. We're trying something new today. Roy found this recipe and he said, honey, try this. I think it'll be good. It's, I think I'm pronouncing it right. Pork Pozole Verde. I think that's it. If I'm not good at pronouncing words in other languages, so pork Pozole Verde. I think that's what it's called. It's going to be a soup, and there's a lot of steps to it. So y'all just gonna have to be patient with me. I have in my Dutch oven back here, I have got 2 tablespoons of olive oil that I'm heating. All right, and I also wrote it down on a card step by step. And this is a pork Boston butt roast. It's got fat in it, but the fat is where you get your flavor, and you're going to pick this fat out once it gets once you cook it. So all this fat is not going to be left in it. And
it sure makes it good.
It surely makes it good. Yes, it does. And so you cut it. What I've done, I've cut it in like 1 inch slices because you have to cut this in like 1 inch squares because we're going to sear it on the back on the in this oil back here. Okay, I might have to sharpen my knife. No, that's got it. Okay, now this is 3 pounds of pork. Now, I guess you could use pork loin, but I don't think it would be good because there's no fat in pork loin. And if I get a big piece of fat like that, I am uh, I'm gonna throw it away because there's lots of fat marbled through this, as you can see. That's just the way a pork loin, I mean a pork roast is, a Boston butt, what we call pork loin. Um, and I use Boston butt for brunswick stew. I use Boston butt for barbecue. Uh, you can use it a lot of different ways. This one I caught on sale. It was a $5 Boston butt, and I got it for $5 and like 30 something cent. So
Wait a second. It was a $5 piece of meat.
5 pounds.
Oh, okay,
5 pounds.
5 pounds.
Sorry,
Okay.
y'all. I get to concentrate, especially when I'm using a knife on what I'm doing, and there ain't no telling what I might say, as y'all can already tell.
Well, that's better than cutting your fingers off.
Yes, it is. It is. All right. Now, this is partially frozen. That's the reason. But I love to cut meat when it's partially frozen because it cuts better. We just took this out of the freezer. Matter of fact, this morning, and I thawed it in the microwave, and the outside got thawed, but the inside didn't. But it makes it a lot easier to cut. Like when you're cutting a pork loin in slices for making chops, it's a lot easier to cut it when it's partially frozen. Okay, so I'm just cutting this in 1 inch slices. That's the reason it looks like I'm having a hard time cutting it. It's because it's frozen. So, all right, now there's a big old piece of fat. I'm just gonna throw that away because it's got enough fat in it. All right, here's another piece. I'm gonna chunk it. Okay. And when I get through here, my Dutch oven is going to be heated because you want it real hot. You're going to sear this. You're not going to flour it, but you're going to sear it. Okay. Uh-oh, Roxy's going to get that piece. All right.
Is this Grandma Rose's open pantry channel?
It is.
Okay. Welcome, everybody.
Oh, welcome to my channel. I'm Rose from Grandma Rose's Open Pantry. Okay. I'm almost through here. Now that one had a little gristle in it. It's gristle. It's just really hard gristle. No, it's a little piece of bone.
That's what I thought it was.
Oh, it sure is. I'll give that. There's another little piece of bone. But I'll put it in there because you know what? I'm going to to shred this anyway, so it's not going to hurt anything. Must be a sharp knife to cut through that little bone like that. All right. Now, if you want to come over here, honey.
Well, we know it was a sharp knife. We don't know what it is.
All right. This is really hot, but that's the way I want it. I'm going to salt and pepper my first batch. And you don't put it all in there at one time because it won't sear, it won't fry, it kind of steams it. So, all right, I gotta wipe my hands. I'm gonna do this with a shaker so I won't contaminate everything, because I don't want to keep sticking my hands down in there. And I can wash my salt and pepper shaker. Okay, salt and pepper. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can to keep it from being so long, but it's just a lot of steps. Okay. And I'm just going to put a few pieces in there at a time. And that's what you want. Y'all notice it's about 8 minutes. Okay. It's going to take each batch 8 minutes. So when I get all of this done, then I'll come back with you and show you what we're going to do next. All right, now that I've got my meat on cooking, I'm going to show you how I'm going to make the green sauce. And I'm going to use tomatillos, I'm going to use jalapeños, and I'm going to use a poblano pepper. And our tomatillos, they have this little husk on them. So you just peel the husk off like this, and then it looks, if you're not familiar with them, looks just like a green tomato, a really green tomato. And I'm putting them in my water they have a sticky thing on them once you peel this husk off, and I just want to wash that off. So,
but they are sweeter than green tomatoes.
Look at that one. Look how
they
green.
Are delicious.
And it makes a beautiful, you can use this in salsa. You can use it like a green salsa.
Stir fries, you use it in stir. Delicious.
Yep. Okay, now.
Well, let me ask you this. Is this called Verde because of all these green peppers?
I think it's because I think it's called Verde because of the tomatillos. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So all of you out there who know, just ignore my ignorance if that's not the reason it's called Verde. And all right.
Verde just means green, doesn't it?
I'm not sure. I don't know. This is foreign to me. I'm not used to cooking Mexican.
Keep your fingers off of the seeds, Grandmama.
Yes, do not let your fingers get on these seeds.
I did.
No, because I'm being very careful, and I'm not going to touch that seed.
But especially if you have a cut place on
right,
or cracked fingers.
Or if you're doing very many. I'm just doing 2 today. Okay. Now, one year I was cutting some up to use in salsa and to can, and I didn't put on gloves, and it blistered my hands, and for 3 days they burned like they were on fire. So usually I do put on gloves, but I'm being very careful today. And I'm not dicing them or cutting them up real small. I'm just taking the seeds out and just cutting them like in quarters, because I'm going to cook these. And then I'm going to put them in the blender. So
if you ever have that happen to you, put your fingers in tomato juice.
Tomato juice, yes.
And just leave them there.
And if you get a hold of a hot pepper, you're eating it and it's really hot, tomato juice is what you, instead of milk, a lot of people say milk, tomato juice is better than milk. Okay, I'm going to get this seed out. Normally I would just pull it out with my fingers, but not today. Okay. And I'm going to take this one out. Just kind of go to the side like that. Cut around it. Cut down that membrane. When you take the seeds and the membrane out, it takes away most of the heat. There's still a little bit, but not much. Okay. Now
So if you
that's
want this to be a little hotter dish, leave a little bit of this
yeah,
seed in.
yeah.
But
All right.
we don't care for it to be hot. Just
No,
spicy.
we do not. Now I'm going to take the seed out of my poblano. Now, to be honest, this is the first time I've ever used a poblano pepper. So this is new to me.
They have mild heat, right?
Yes, they're very good. Yeah, it's a very mild heat. You can feel it right on your tongue, but then it's gone by the time you swallow it. So,
Okay.
all right, and I'm just going to cut these like this because, like I say, we are going to put them in some water and boil them until they get real tender, and then we're going to put them in the blender and blend it all up until it's smooth. For my tomatillos, just cut them in half, cut them in quarters, put them in here, cut them in half, cut because you want everything about the same size. Oh, and if you, this is what a tomatillo looks like on the inside if you've never seen one.
And it's a little bit sweet and tart.
Yes, it is.
A little bit sweeter than tomato and tart.
Yeah, and tart.
Oh,
it's a sweet tart. Really good taste.
If you haven't experimented with them, they're healthy and a good thing to learn to incorporate in your healthy food.
Okay. I'm going to put these in here. I'm going to cut the rest of those up, but you don't need to watch me do that. I'm going to cover these with water, and I'm going to cook them 15 minutes. Then I'm going to put them in a colander, drain them, and then when they cool, we'll put them in the blender and make our sauce, and I'll show you how to do that. But
you just really turn that into a paste, don't you?
You do after you put it in the blender. Yeah. Yep. That's the way you do it. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to do this. Then I'm going to put them on, let them cook, and we'll be back in just a little bit. You'll have to get up here close to it, I think, so they can see.
All right. You're on camera.
Okay. All right. Now this is my poblanos, my jalapeños, and my tomatillos. And this is what's going to make it green right here. So I've got to let this cool, drain it, and let it cool. So I'm just going to let it sit in my colander right here. Now don't go anywhere, honey. I'm going to move this because it's hot. Now, we are going to add, remember we put 2 tablespoons of olive oil in my stock pot in my Dutch oven when I seared my meat. We're putting 2 more tablespoons in this, I'm going to turn this back up, in my saucepan here, and I am going to saute my onions. This is 1 medium onion, which is about a good cup. Now, this is 8 cloves of fresh garlic. You just peel it and smash it. That's what it tells you to do. So that's 8 cloves right there. And this is going to have to cook until it sautés and gets translucent. It said 8 minutes, but I don't cook mine 8 minutes. I'll cook mine probably 4 minutes because I don't want it to be brown. I want my onions just to be translucent. I don't want them to be caramelized. So, and y'all can see how my pork is cooking here. Man, it smells good. It's got 22 more minutes. And
keep in mind, this is cooking for a big family meal.
Yeah.
The amount she's cooking and the time it takes today compared to what you would do for just your own 3 or 4 families.
Right. Yeah.
This is not what this is. This is a big meal.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you can half it, you can quarter it, you can do what, the amount that you want. So I'm going to let this cool, and I'm going to cook my onions, and when this cools, then I'm going to put everything in this blender. I'm going to put my onions and garlic and my tomatillos and poblano and jalapenos in this blender, and I'm going to blend them up so they're really smooth. And then when this gets ready, then I'm going to cool it a little bit and try to take some of that fat off that y'all saw in there. I'm going to take it off. Then we're going to put it back in this pot with our tomatillo sauce, and we're going to cook it for about 30 more minutes. And by that time, the pork should be just falling apart. So that's the way it's supposed to work. We're going to see how it works. So, but you know what? If it don't work this time, I'll try it again. Y'all know me. I'm never outdone. I'm going to turn this down a little bit because I don't want my onions to get brown. So, all right, it's going to take this about 3 or 4 minutes. So then we'll see you then.
All right, Grandmama, here we go again.
Okay, here are my tomatillos, my pablano peppers, my jalapeños, my onions, and my garlic, all going into my blender. Okay.
Boy, there's some flavor going into this pot, isn't there?
It may be a little bit more flavor than what we want. We'll see. Okay. All right. Let me get all these onions in there because we love onions. All right. Now, I saved a little bit of the liquid out right here because sometimes you have to put a little bit of liquid in there to get it to blend up really smooth. And I'm going to put this liquid in because that's probably some hot liquid right there. I mean, heat hot. But did you see that? Just time I put that little liquid in there, it started blending. Now I'm trying to do it till it's really, really smooth. You're not supposed to have any little pieces of, oh, that's pretty smooth. All right, I think that's it. Ooh, y'all look. Can you see that, baby?
Ooh, that looks like a dip. Give me some chips, darling.
I am fixing to taste, and I may,
Taste
y'all,
just see how good
it may set me on fire.
Nah. I'll throw some hot water
But
on
we gonna see.
I'll throw some hot water on you if you catch you on fire.
It is not hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit on your tongue. Ooh,
Okay.
oh man, you can taste those 8 cloves of garlic. It needs some salt. It didn't say salt.
Well, it's concentrated right now, and you're
But I'm
put
gonna
it through a gallon or more
right.
of soup, aren't you?
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right.
When you get through.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, did it taste pretty good?
Oh, it's good. I'm gonna let you taste of it. I'm just getting this salt and pepper in it. Oh, I'm not through. Sorry, y'all. 1 teaspoon of oregano. 1 teaspoon of cumin. I'll put just, that wasn't quite a teaspoon. So, all right. Now, let me mix it again. This is going to change the flavor. It was kind of bland. This will up the flavor. Okay. Now I'm going to taste again. That tomatillo is so good. Oh my. That changed the flavor altogether. It was kind of bland, but that salt and that pepper and that cumin and oregano, I could eat that with a chip.
That's a chip dip.
Wow.
That is.
Y'all, this is a good dip right here. I'm telling you.
Is.
Okay.
That's delicious.
I have discovered a new dip for me and Roy. Okay. I got stuff on me. This has got to cook 8 more minutes. Then I'm going to let it cool some. I'm going to take all the extra fat out. Then I'm going to try to shred it up a little bit, but it may be still a little tough. But I'm going to add my sauce right here to my pork. I'm going to take it out, let it cool, try to shred it up, put it back in there with my juice, with my broth, with this, and we're going to cook it 30 more minutes. So this is an all morning process, but it's fun to me. I mean,
well, this is a family deal, like you
it
were cooking
is.
chicken and dressing.
Yes, yes. And you may could do this with chicken and not pork. I mean, I don't know that, but I think it would be good with chicken. So as soon as my pork gets, as soon as it finishes the 7 minutes, I'm going to let it cool a little bit, and then we'll be back.
All right, Grandma.
Okay, y'all. It said take the excess fat off. Well, I don't want to wait another hour or two for this broth to cool. So I'm going to show y'all a little trick. You see that? You see all that fat? I put ice cubes in it. And what it does, that fat, it congeals this fat. Look at there. You see that?
Oh my.
So I'm getting all the fat off of
Not all
this.
of it.
Well, most of it.
I'd say that's all of it.
Okay. All right. Now, y'all look in there. All you got is juice. You don't have any fat. I want y'all to look at this. Look at that. So if you need to separate the fat from the broth quickly, just put ice cubes in there. And what it does, it congeals that fat. And then you just take a little ladle or something and skim it right off. That's just a little tip from Grandma Rose this morning. So my mama taught me to do this. And so, and I'm ready to get this back on cooking. So, and I didn't want to wait for my broth to cool. All right, this is my meat. Roy and I have got the excess fat off of it. He helped me do that.
Now, we didn't get the tiniest pieces of fat off, but any big pieces we got off.
All right, now I'm going to put my sauce in my meat. Now remember, this has got, I'm going to put a little bit of
tomatillo sauce is what it looks like.
Well, it is, yeah. I'm going to put a little bit of water and blend it back up. Hold on, because I want all that sauce. Okay. See, it gets the rest of that sauce out of there. Just put you a little bit of water in it and hit pulse a couple of times. And that gets almost all your sauce out of there. See? Okay. Now, I'm going to turn this back on medium high. I'm going to let it come to a boil, and I'm going to cook it 30 more minutes. And it's 12, almost 12:15. Roy and I are getting hungry, so.
Now this, you may be able to see it in the video, but it's turned it a little bit greenish from the tomatillos, and it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's just not a bright color.
Oh my. That is so good. It's not hot. It's got just a little spice to it, but it is delicious. I'm going to put my lid back on it.
Well, traditionally, Mexican food is really not hot. It's
no.
just spicy.
We went to Mexico City a couple of times, and their authentic Mexican is not hot. You add your own heat. They bring you different sauces. You add your heat, but the what they bring you is not hot. Now, I guess you could order it that way, but the authentic that we ate was not real hot and spicy. All right, I got this on medium high. When it comes up to boil, I'm gonna turn it back down to like 3, which is medium low, and I'm gonna let it cook 30 more minutes. I'm gonna set my timer. And then this pork, it's already tender, but it should just be falling apart. So see you in a minute. See you in 30 minutes.
Okay.
All right, y'all. I forgot one of the main ingredients: hominy. Now, if you don't know what hominy is, it's used in a lot of Mexican dishes. A lot of times they use it in the place of corn, potatoes, like we would use potatoes, but it's just corn that they've processed. And my granny used to do it all the time out in a wash pot. And my daddy has told me how she used to do it because he loved hominy.
It's called nixtamalized corn. They use a lye or alkaline to take the husk off, and it also toughens the inside kernel and releases more nutrition from the corn.
Okay, I just wanted to show y'all that I put hominy in it because that's one of the main ingredients in this dish. So, all right, see y'all back in 26 minutes.
Grandmama, you are dipping that out.
Y'all, look at this.
Ooh,
Isn't that?
that is shredded meat now after we cooked it.
Yes, we shredded it. Yes.
I took 2 forks and just pulled it apart
And that's
because
what
it was
you're
still
supposed,
hot.
it's supposed to be shredded. Your pork is supposed to be shredded. Okay.
What it does when you shred it like that, the meat is all through the liquid. It's not just meat at the bottom, and as you can see, that meat is floating all over the top. So everybody gets plenty of meat.
Yep.
When they dip this out. Oh, you're cheating now.
All right. Now.
Who told you to cheat? With cheese?
The recipe.
Oh, okay.
All right. This is cilantro. This is cheese. Now, I don't have the kind of cheese. The kind of cheese that it called for was C-O-T-I, let's see, C-O-T-I-J-A. I don't know how to pronounce that. But I couldn't find it. I went to 3 grocery stores and couldn't find it. So this is, I'm just using a Fiesta blend, which is not what the recipe calls for, but that's all I could find that I thought might would work.
Oh,
now this is fresh cilantro, and you just roughly chop it, put it on top. And it also says that you can use jalapeños, fresh jalapeños, you can use radishes, or you can put avocado on here with your cheese and your cilantro. So,
how about for the individual sour cream?
I guess so.
If they like sour cream.
I guess so. It didn't. I was just going by what the recipe said, and that was the things that they told you that you could top it with.
Folks, this is good.
I'm gonna taste.
And you've never tasted anything that tastes exactly like this. This is good. This is good.
Wow, that hominy in there is so good. I love hominy anyway. Me and my daddy used to eat it all the time. We loved it.
Now this is 90% the same taste as potato when it's in this soup, don't you think, Rose? So it's don't think that you've got a very different flavor with the hominy.
Wow.
As it cooks into that, it just turns the gravy and the hominy mixed together, and it's 99% of the 95% of the taste of potato.
Cheese on it. Y'all, this is so good. I know it took me all morning to do it, but next time it won't take that long at all. But the first time you do something that has several different steps to it, then it's gonna take you longer. But I could have done this meat in an Instant Pot and cooked it in half the time probably, but I wanted to do it just like the recipe said. Next time I fix it, I'll probably cook my meat in my Instant Pot. It'll be done in 20-25 minutes.
Cut the time right out of it, won't it?
Yeah, you just cut the time right out of it. So, and I'll probably do that next time. But y'all, it's worth trying. It's worth putting out the effort, because I'm telling you, whoo,
it's a different taste.
it's a different taste, and it's delicious.
It's called a Mexican soup
It's so good.
for just the common title of it.
I'll put the name of it in the description box with the recipe, because y'all are going to want to try this one. If you like Mexican food, you're gonna love this one.
If you like Southern food, you're gonna like that.
Thank y'all for joining me this morning and coming along with me as I made our soup today. It's raining cats and dogs outside, so it's not cold, but it's a good day for soup. So Roy and I are about to sit down and eat. Thank y'all for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I upload a video. Ooh, that was a sharp. Y'all hear that thunder?
We got tornado warnings out.
We do. That was sharp lightning. Okay. Remember, food feeds the family, family feeds the heart, God feeds the soul. See y'all next time.